Welcome to a new episode of Outside the Panels with your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Outside the Panels. I'm your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and unlike some other bigger name comic book sites other than Comic Crusaders, who just seem to have worked out that there is a market out there in other than DC and Marvel, over here at Outside, we have been talking to Kickstarter projects left, right, and center. And returning for this show is a friend of the show. It is Mr. Todd Black. Ta-da! He of the impossible hair.
Thank you.
Dum, dum.
Also, it's funny to make fun of DC when I'm wearing a Shazam shirt, but whatever.
That's cool. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt, so you know, well, go figure, right?
Yeah.
How have you been, man? Long time no hear.
Been doing all right. Got lots of things in the works, and I'm here. Like you said, I got a Kickstarter going, so I knew I had to contact you to get back on the show. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Love a good Kickstarter, and yours is one of the best. For those that missed the first time around, give us the lowdown on your Kickstarter, please.
All right, so this is for a series I'm making called Tokyo Blade Detectives, and as you can see in the art that is around our screens, this is for issue number 6. We have had 5 successful Kickstarters for the series so far, and this is an anime comic set in Tokyo 200 years in the future. The country's been burned to the ground by war, rebuilt with technology, and to try and stop the madness, to make a law that no one can break. No guns allowed. Yeah, like that's going to work. And so they make laser swords, as you can see in this beautifully rendered cover by my artist, Alex Garcia. And that gives rise to several factions trying to take over the country. And the girl at the top is named Miko. She's a 16-year-old detective who gets caught up in all sorts of madness, including this issue where she and her partner in crime fighting, I guess I should say, Michio, is going to get caught up in an epic battle with an assassin known as the Ninetales, who is that black armored fellow right there.
Whoa.
So, and this will be like the most action-packed issue of this series so far, bar none.
That's a big ask, because I remember the first time I looked at this book, you had that absolutely gorgeous spread with the sabers running against each other, like a certain sci-fi movie-esque look.
Yeah,
I'm not going to mention.
No.
So to say that this is more action-packed than that, dude, you're going to have to go some, right?
Well, for me, it was the last issue. So this issue is a second issue in our second arc.
Right.
And the first issue was all about the setup. Miko and Michio get a new client who's being hunted by these assassins called the Ninetales, who are the deadliest assassins in all of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is, okay, how do we get to there? What's the client about? And then right when we start doing the detective work, everything goes right to heck. But we have a very small battle to kind of set it up, because we need to have action in every issue. Sure. But this one is, okay, we've had the setup. Here's the climax, or one of them. Mm-hmm. And it's like we do 5 pages of final setup, and then basically the next 15 pages are pretty much nonstop action. And it was hard, because I'm like, how do I go from here's where we are, here's what we can do, and I've clearly set up the rules of this. Even though it's an anime, they're still very human characters. They're bound by the laws of technology and physics. But how do I make this interesting? So at times there are, one-on-one matchups. At times there's 2v2, there's 2v1s. Other times there's like technology being put in place to help out. The Ninetales has special abilities that he uses to get around Miko and Michio. And then there was setting, because there's a mission that Miko and Michio have to complete with this client to get him to safety. So they have to send down a building while this assassin is chasing them. And it's not an easy thing.
Well, I'm laughing a little bit. Not for any particular, so like from a plotting point of view. I'm kind of concerned that, it's going to take a lot of work for your artist.
Yes, Lam Vivant is our interiors artist. Alex Garcia does the cover. Mm-hmm. And I'm pushing Lam heavily. Like we just got done with the page yesterday. And when he was doing the sketch, I'm like, okay, Miko's doing this, Ninetales is doing this, I need you to do this. And he had the stance of Miko just like almost cartoonish in a way. Like, no, think about it like this. And so I'm having to sometimes correct him, like, okay, let's do this instead. Okay, this is not bad. We can do this better. Because I want it to be as visually striking as possible, but also, convey the motion that we're doing here. And he's had to do like splash pages that render multiple floors of a building. He just got done with a page where I'm not gonna spoil anything. Let's just say that a wall gets broken through, and and we're still not even at like the flashier elements. I even had him do like a horror scene where the Ninetales is sneaking up on one of the two, and they don't realize it until it's like almost too late. So I'm trying to just keep it going, keep it flowing. John Wick was a inspiration, and the Raid, which is that's why I nicknamed this particular issue as the Raid, because of the nonstop action element.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you have kindly popped a little video on the YouTube, on your Kickstarter there. So we're going to have a look at it. Let me bring it up. Boom. Yeah. There we are. Let me bring it up. And here we go. Here's the video. Check it out.
Hello Kickstarter, I am Todd Black, and I'm here once again with Tokyo Blade Detectives, this time for issue number 6. Now, in number 5, we just kicked off a brand new arc called The Contract. In it, Miko and Michio get a client who's being hunted by an assassin group known as the Ninetales. They are one of the 5 factions of Tokyo. And at the end of that issue, they were in a very dire situation with Ninetales literally barreling down on them, trying to get their client. Issue number 6, I like to jokingly call The Raid, after the famous action movie, because this is the most action-packed issue I have ever done with any comic I have ever had. I'm not even joking about that. And so
I maintain that.
Much of this issue, after the 5 pages of setup that you'll see below, focuses on the action between Miko, Michio, and the Ninetales, and all that they have to do to try and keep Satoshi alive or try to kill him if he's the ninth tail. As I said, this is a very action-focused issue, but we are going to have some very fun dialogue moments and a twist at the end. It's going to be good, I promise. So, as per usual with my Kickstarters, I have plenty of rewards for you to get. You can get the comic physically, you can get the comic digitally. If you're new to Tokyo Blade Detectives, please do not click away out of fear that you don't know the story. We will have all 5 issues, previous issues, available to you, as well as number 6. So you can get all 6 comics of the series right here on this Kickstarter. I want to make sure that this is as welcoming to newcomers as it is to returning friends. And you can still get drawn into the comic. We have a very fun place to put you in the comic this time around. You're not going to see it coming, I promise. And you can still get every other comic that I have made, from Guardians, Home, 10,000 Miles, my Thunder Rosa series off the AEW wrestler, and more. So check the rewards over on the right and see what you want to do. And as always, pledge what you can. Okay? I know times are still hard, and I know some of you like to support me, but please pledge what you are able to. That is all I can ask of you. And if you can't pledge, spread the word. That really does help. We had a really big success because of all of you who pledged to number 5. And if we can match that, great. If we don't, that's fine. My goal is to make the comic. We have 10 pages done already, and we're going to be working on the other 10 as the Kickstarter goes on, because we are confident that we will get funded, and we will do all we can to get it done and to get it to you as soon as possible. So check out the rewards, check out the preview pages below, and welcome to Tokyo once again. Let the raid begin.
Very impressive. I like the digital score. That was canny.
Yeah. Shout out to my friend Matt Shore. He's my editor on the comic, and he edited the video.
All right, so let's see where we stand. Okay, as always, I'm in the UK, so we'll change this over to dollars for you. Yeah, $750 was your goal so far. With, at the time of recording, 23 days to go. You have a whopping $919.
Yep.
So basically, what we're saying is you're fully funded, right?
Yep. I hit my funding goal 3 days in, which is really nice, and it was on my birthday, no less.
Oh, sweet.
And thank you. And we've got 50 backers so far, and I'm hoping to get back to 100 once again. We hit 116 last time. I'd like to match that again, but I understand if we can't. So, and like I said in the video, we have plenty of rewards to suit all manner of comic lovers, physical copies, digital copies. You can get drawn to the comic. I even offer some rewards to let me help you make comics if you're interested, whether it be portfolio reviews or walking you through how to make a comic like I've done or like my friends have done. And we have everything from $1 rewards all the way up to $150, where you can get every comic I've ever made physically sent to you. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I don't see a lot of $1 rewards, but there you go. Right, it's a good call. $1 gets you a nice email. 3 gets you the number 6 in PDF. That's a good price, isn't it? $3 for a PDF.
I want this to be accessible, and even obviously the physical would cost more, but it doesn't. It literally costs me nothing to send an email. So I'm like, let's convey that by making it $3.
I think I had a conversation over the weekend with a Kickstarter that I was interested in, and they only offered physical copies. So I was going to pledge. I was going to pledge $10 for the book. I was like, oh yeah, I can do $10. And then when I looked, because I'm in the UK, international shipping made it an additional $24 or $27. So I'd be paying something like $34 for a book. And I was like, you know what?
No.
I want to support you, but I cannot justify spending $34 on one comic.
Yeah, I'm a bit nicer when it comes to my international shipping. So if for example, if you, dear Johnny, wanted to get the physical copy of Tokyo Blade Detective number 6, it would only cost you $15 when shipping is included. I probably should charge more, but I'm too nice of a guy. So
it's all right. I'm charging you $25 for being on the show, so I'm all right.
See, you're coming out ahead.
I'm not. It was a joke. It's fine.
Right. Totally a joke, John.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
It was a joke.
People are on this for free. Let's see. 5 gets you a PDF. Brilliant. 10.
That's all the digital copies of the comic up to now.
See, now that's another good price.
Yeah.
That is a really good price.
Again, doesn't cost me to send an email, so we'll just put it all together and ship it off. I don't mind. Then there's your physical copy if someone wants to get that. That's been always a popular one.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do prefer physical copies over digital. I see a lot of digital for the reviews that I do. So I am comfortable with said things.
No, it's no worries. You gotta. Sorry, something's caught my attention. You're fine. You gotta love what you love. I know there's this big debate going on right now, and I've seen it with people I follow online about, you gotta go digital. Digital's the future, but like, just look at my rewards. I've had plenty. Okay, look, my last Kickstarter. I had 3 different people pledge to my $150 reward, which is all physical copies of all my books. 3 people did that. Like, you don't do that unless you only read physical comic books, So, and I'm grateful to them. And it was, first of all, I was just like, wait, 3 people did that? Like, I usually get 1 person doing that, which is fine. And then ironically, one of the people who did it last time, I messaged him and said, hey, we got the Kickstarter up, but he goes, yeah, kind of broke right now. So
bless him.
Wait a minute. You spent $150 last time, but you're broke now? How does that work? No, it's fine. He's a friend. I was just joking. But I offer both sides of the equation because there are both sides to every comic reader. There's people like you who love the physical. I know people who love all my digital rewards, whether they be the just getting the 1 issue or all the issues or whatnot. Everyone's different. Like, for me, even though I love sending out the digital comic rewards, I don't read them digitally. If it's a friend's comic, they'll send it to me and I'll promise to read them, and I will. But I've got you can't see it behind the Eevee, but behind the Eevee is a large stack of physical comics that I get every Wednesday from a comic book store. And I prefer it that way. It costs more, yes, but I like, as my mom would say, I like the feel.
Yeah, I
like the feel.
I'm with you on this. I am with you. I'm the crazy guy that reviews a comic book for Comic Crusaders, then goes down to the comic store to buy the damn thing. I have no need I have no need to buy it. I have the review copy sitting on my hard drive until I delete it because hard drive space is a premium. And I go out and buy the comic because I think to myself, you know what? I wanna support the industry. It's not just about saying, oh yeah, this comic's great or whatever.
Yeah.
It's about the comic's great. This is how great it is. I've bought the damn thing. So.
Yeah. For me, it's like it's not just I like the feel. It's that I feel I would lose them for a reason. Like, oh, you put it in a folder. Well, the folder's gonna get bigger, and eventually it's gonna be overstuffed, and I don't want that. Also, I know some people are gonna be asking, why is Todd continually looking upward? There's a wasp on my window. Yeah. I've been having a wasp problem, so don't worry, it's not near me right now, but I'm just keeping my eye on it so I can kill it later. Yeah. So if I just I'm not ignoring you, Johnny. I am trying to pay attention to the enemy that hopefully won't sting me. So
that's all right. When you say kill it, you mean remove humanely, of course.
Right.
I don't want all the Wasp fans leaving the show. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll start a buzz about it. Probably lost your pledge for that. I know.
Yeah, pretty much. I tell you what, thank God comedy's not your day job in writing comics is instead. Who the thunk? All right, let's have another look at some art for you. You were kind enough to share this little beauty with us. Page 1.
Yeah.
Love this top panel. Look at the Empire with all the screens going on and stuff.
Yeah, so really for those who haven't read, that is Rika, who is the head of the Nine Tails, and she's someone you really don't want to tick off. And so when she's as you can read in the dialogue, she wants to know what's going on with the contract because they have their word is their bond. They will kill everyone they're contracted to. That's why they're so dangerous. And so when she's like, where's the update? Where's the ninth tail? And the person she's talking to is the second tail, her second in command. And he's like, yeah, he's fine, I'm sure. And she's like, she's not having it. So, and then that'll lead us to the next pages where we catch up on what happened with Miko Michio and Satoshi. And you might see these characters again later on. I'm just saying, maybe you might.
Maybe. So I think we covered this off last time, but just to sort of like touch base with newer viewers who are kind of thinking, what's this about? What is it about the fascination of the idea of a futuristic Tokyo? I mean, Tokyo by itself is pretty damn futuristic to start with. Yeah. Obviously, the anime elements are in there. You know? And then you've kind of gone a different way, moved away from traditional weapons, and I suppose traditional Western weapons is what I should say, and moved towards the more Eastern, although technically advanced weapons. What you've kind of taken a couple of different elements there and pushed them together. What is it that inspires you so much about Tokyo and that kind of anime feel?
Well, I grew up on anime. It started with Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and then worked my way up from there. And most times when you see an anime, they go either for three different things. They either go for the fantastical, the magical, or totally supernatural, I suppose. But or superpowers. So, like for example, My Hero Academia is technically set in our time period, but they all have superpowers. And then you flip that around, and you got like my Full Metal Alchemist, where it's all about it's technically science, but it's still magic. Like let's be honest here. And then you got I can never say its name, Jujutsu Kaisen. I can't
help you out. I'm not a huge anime fan, so I can't help you out.
Don't worry about it. Fans will know. But that one's all about like curses and dark magic and whatever. And as I started to think about it, I'm like, why isn't there just one about like pure technology? Like there's some that have it, obviously, but I want one that's about what if our world just went super technological, and obviously the place to do that would be Japan. So I'm like, okay, throw it 200 years in the future, give them the reason to go technological, and then why not Western weapons? Well, it honestly was just because of the name. When I got the name, I think I told you the story last time, but I got it because of a Facebook meme. It was like, pick your name and letter and whatever, and then I ended up with Tokyo Blade Detectives. And so as I was thinking about the idea, I'm like, okay, well, why blades? Why would the blades even be there? I mean, this is the future. You know, why would I? Sorry, lost my moving. Why would
Alright.
why would I need the swords? And then it hit me because the guns are outlawed. Like,
Mhm.
oh, so having that freedom to say, never bring a knife to a gunfight. Well, now
Yeah.
I've reversed it because now you need the knife because the gun is gone. So, and that allows me that I liked that freedom. And then once I had that base plate, then I could say, okay, what would all these other factions use to make themselves even deadlier with the technology that they had? And one answer was with the Tau, which we met last arc, where they make themselves seem like mystics, even though it's all technology, it's all illusions and nanomachines. Then you got the Nine Tails, who use their armor to do special things that make them even deadlier and ensure that they catch their targets. I like that freedom, and then we're going to meet more characters who have that kind of mindset and will push the technology in certain ways. And even with Miko, she has bunch of gadgets she used in the last issue and this one, where they're basic, but that's what she has access to. Not like in any society, there's what technology do you have access to? Not everyone has a laser sword in the comic, and I've established that. And some of them have like more basic versions, and they have to work with that. So having that freedom to say like, okay, these people have better technology, these people have worse technology, these people have limited access to it. It gives me this range that I can use to tell various kinds of stories, including this one right here.
Cool, excellent. Right, we'll take a quick break for one of our adverts. It is a quick one. This is for all you old-time comic book fans out there like me. Here we go. It's the old timers.
Do you want to find out what makes the professor do his happy dance? Check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, only on the UCPN.
I'm not going to judge.
Done, hey, the old timers comic book shop. It's where the hosts aren't old, but the comics most certainly are. So there you go. Check it out. Back to more modern tales. I want to do a shout out for something. This probably isn't the forum for it, so apologies for that. But if I may be so bold, I would like to say a huge well done for something, and it's this bad boy.
Yeah, that is my noir one shot that I made with Source Point Press, and it's available now. You can get it in stores or Comic Cons, I think, and they have it on their digital shop. So yeah, that's a project that was years in the making. I came up with it for them, and it took a while, but we finally got it made and it published, and I'm very happy with how it turned out.
It reads very, very well.
Thank you.
I loved the writing on the book. Absolutely
Thank
thought it was brilliant, especially because it was kind of hit me because I'd seen the first Tokyo Blade stuff that when you did the pod the first time, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. And then this came up, and I was like, oh, I'll he sent me across now, have a look and whatever. And I was absolutely blown away at the difference in writing, because different genres require a different voice.
Yeah.
And I was massively impressed by your versatility, Todd. Got to say that was really well done. And I didn't see the ending coming.
It's been 50-50. Some people were like, I totally saw the ending coming, and then another friend of mine was like, no, dude, I totally didn't see the ending coming. So
no,
yes,
well done.
The one of the people who did see it coming was an elderly gentleman, and he's probably seen so many of these stories that he probably saw that. I was like, oh yeah, he's the bad guy. So
yeah, and then your point of view.
Yeah, and I'm that way too. Like I'll watch mystery shows and like detective dramas, and I'll like, it's probably them. They're not acting correctly, and when you see enough of it,
Yeah, you can always work out who the bad guy is in Scooby Doo.
There you go.
Maybe not the greatest detective idea, but still. So back to this. You are an absolutely successful Kickstarter entrepreneur.
Thank you.
You have had several successful Kickstarters. You maintain a huge presence
I try.
online. So we can have a look at that. So if you want to follow Todd on Twitter, there you go. Check at Guardian_comic. There you go.
Oh, hold
And
on. It's Guardians _
we did check beforehand. Just so
Well, I have mine like right here. You can see it.
there you go.
See,
Yeah.
I know how to type my handle. I'm
Yeah, where's that wasp? Where's that wasp right now? There you
it's
go.
right there. Literally right there. Like it's flying up and down. I don't know where they're coming from. It's like bugs are my nightmare. All right.
See, when a boy wasp and a girl wasp love each
Don't.
other very, very
Don't.
much.
Don't.
All right, there we go. Better now.
But yes, that is my Twitter, and I will still be on there despite what Elon Musk is doing. You know, I've got friends on there, and I don't want to lose them. So
Exactly. So, I mean, what advice can you give somebody who thinks to themselves, you know what, I'm going to have a bash at this Kickstarter malarkey?
ironically, I have a reward about that, but I will. It's the $75 reward. I will help them with a Kickstarter should they want. My biggest piece of advice for Kickstarter would be, and I know this is going to sound crass, but be prepared to get frustrated.
That's a good shout.
Because here's the thing, because of, and I have this frustration myself. I want to make that clear. Because of certain Kickstarters you see, whether they be comics or video games, movies, they've become popular. Board games, also very popular on Kickstarter. You, at times, get the inclination that if I post it and I have something worthy to show, I'm going to get funded. Like someone is going to find me and I am going to get funded. It's not how it works. I have been incredibly lucky. I mean, you called me an entrepreneur, but I was just following in the great footsteps of those who came before me. But I have, over my, now, with this issue, this will be 12th successful Kickstarter. Should we fully get funded, which we will, I hope, but whatever.
You're fully funded.
I know, but technically I have to wait until it actually ends, and then I am funded. I've hit my funding goal. I have not funded, so it's just distinctions and everything. But semantics, exactly. But I've had to work hard to get them. Like my first 5, which was my miniseries Home. I had 3 unsuccessful Kickstarters before then, for various other projects, and then then with Home, I literally put like everything I had into this. I made sure I had a lot of the art done. I had a bunch of good rewards. I had one reward that was over $500, and someone actually pledged to that. I'm like, really? It worked, but I did a lot of promotion. I found as many people as I could. And I put everything I had into it, and it worked. And I was amazed. I was like, oh my gosh. And so then I had to do it again and again and again and again. And by the 5th one, I was so stressed about not making the goal for whatever reason. I actually lowered the goal by about $1,000 just to make sure I made it. And I've actually taken a similar approach with Tokyo, where usually I would charge $1,500 for the funding goal, but I felt confident enough that I could get there on a lesser goal that I lowered it to $750. And I'm not afraid to say that I have a stable couple side jobs which help me do all these comic projects.
Yeah. I have a we'll call our daytime jobs side jobs, but
there you go. There you go. Mine's a little more complicated, but it's still the same thing. But I have enough to say, like, even if I don't make say this amount of money like I want to, I can afford to bite the bullet. That's the other thing. Don't go into Kickstarter expecting to make a profit. Again, you look at these Kickstarters, and I have friends who have had massively successful ones, and praise be to them. But theirs usually is, they have a large established fan base. They offer a lot of rewards, but if you look at the rewards compared to like mine, my highest is $150. sometimes they'll offer like, $1,000 rewards, $2,000. They have to pay, or like variant covers. They have to pay the variant artist to do that, and sometimes those people are very expensive. So they have those rewards and the higher goals because they have that high overhang. I don't have that. I have exactly the comic and the shipping, which I include in my my funding goal. So if you do hit it big and you get that large fan base, I have about 100, give or take, 50 of which I've already pledged. Right. But I can rely on those ones to get me to my goal. But I never make a profit off these, because if I did, like say with my last one, I don't consider that my money. I consider it, that's the next project.
Yeah.
So whatever extra, exactly, whatever extra I have for number 5, and I do feel like I had extra last time, like with those 3 people who pledged 150. I threw that right into 6, and we started on 6 the moment that 5 was done and my script was written, which is like a week after we were done. So that's the second thing. Then the third thing is
don't give everything away. Remember,
I don't mind. I'm not telling him everything.
Goodbye.
But the third thing is that you got to be patient. I mean, this is the opposite of frustration. Like, for example, today, I knew yesterday that I had 1 backer all day, and that was because I asked a friend to pledge $1. No shame. There's no shame in Kickstarter. There's actually a lot of shame in Kickstarter, but that's another topic entirely, Johnny. But
that's for after hours.
That's for the oh gosh, that you have no idea how appropriate that phrase is there. But I had 1 backer all day, and I was like, okay, if I could just get this 1 backer, then I'll get to this point, and then I'll be fine. When we're recording right now, when you showed me my Kickstarter and like how much I had made and everything, that number hasn't changed since about this time yesterday. So I've gone about 24 hours without a backer. And that hurts because, like I told you earlier, my last Kickstarter had 116 backers. And when I think about it, I'm like, well, why aren't these other, 50, 60 other people pledging? Well, and then I have to remind myself, and I actually noted this in my video. 1, times are hard. 2, some people, like my buddy who I mentioned earlier, might not have the same amount of money to give, even if it's only $1, which is fine. That happens. 3, and this one happens more than I like to understand, but they might not realize that the Kickstarter is up. I usually send out a message via the updates or the emails that we get, and I say, hey, our Kickstarter is up. Sometimes they don't see it. Sometimes they don't get the updates for one. You can turn off notifications for updates, and so that's why I have to try and be persistent. And then other times is that, and a friend of mine did this when I was asking him about it, they don't get paid until like the middle of the month.
Yeah.
So, and I'm only 7 days in. Like I started it on the 1st at midnight. That's a weird tradition that I had. That way I can wake up and know I got funding. But I'm 7 days in. I've already reached my funding goal. I'm 50 backers in. That's a success.
Definitely.
That's a success. And yet, because of my mental state and my desire to keep doing to a certain level, which for me is getting about 100 backers per Kickstarter, I freak. And I hate it because I'm like, I should be grateful. I should be like, oh yeah, Todd, kick back, relax. You just let the backers fall in when they can. And so let me be the example of what not to do. Don't panic when you don't panic when you go a day without a Kickstarter. Like they always say, I've heard so many people say, it's the middle period that you get the lulls in, and that can be true depending on the month. Yeah. But if you don't have, when you have a dedicated fan base, they're the ones that are always going to be like day one. Like for the last few Kickstarters of Tokyo, I've had about 30 people pledge day one every time within a certain variety, and I appreciate that. And then other ones, they'll trickle in over the day. So I've got 3 weeks left. Am I confident that I'll get to 100? Maybe not confident, but I have hope, and I'll still be doing like interviews like I'm doing with you, Johnny, and I'll be tweeting, I'll be posting on Facebook. I'm doing a Comic-Con next week, so I'll be plugging it there.
Which Comic-Con you going to?
Grand Rapids Comic-Con in Michigan. It's my last con of the year, but it's a really fun one. So if you're near Grand Rapids, Michigan, it's 3 days, the 11th through the 13th. Highly recommend it. But I'll be plugging there because I'll be selling the first volume of Tokyo there. So like, hey, if you like this issue, go on to Kickstarter. You never know who you might meet.
Yeah.
And but you got to be patient because sometimes it doesn't get funded in 3 days. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks. When it was home, like my first issue, I think we got 3 weeks in when I got funded, and that was a relief. But then it was like, because remember I had that $500 backer person. I'm like, what if they cancel? Because I had heard a horror story of someone who pledged $2,000 and canceled within the last hour, and I'm like, oh, you monster! So I'm like,
cancel?
What?
I didn't know you could cancel.
Oh yeah.
No, I've pledged a couple of times and pledged, and I was like, I've just pledged.
No, well, it's think of it like this. Imagine you have a financial situation. You decide to pledge to me on my first day of the Kickstarter because everything's fine. But then, like, say an emergency happens, you need emergency funds, and the 150 you pledged to me, just to make it a fair enough example, the 150 you pledged to me, you need it back. And so you can just cancel the pledge. You're not charged until the Kickstarter gets funded. So there's like no harm, no foul, except for the people who really liked having your $150 on their goal total. So, but it's a safety net that I appreciate. This is also why I don't use Indiegogo. Not that Indiegogo is bad, but they make it to where you can, whatever amount you get, you have to use that to make your whatever project it is. And if you make 50 out of 500, you're still expected to make everything, and that kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but with Kickstarter, and this is I find this the safety net that backers can trust in. When you get funded, you're going to get the project if the person is good. I have done everything I can to make sure I get every one of my backers their rewards that I have promised them. And if something happens in the mail, or they don't get the email or the update notification about everything, I try and correct it as best I can, because I want to be a guy that they can rely on, which is how I feel I have built up my fan base over the years. So
I can totally buy into that. Well done. Thank you very much.
The
Kickstarter, there you go. There is the big long list. Now, you know me in these sort of things. By all means, you can pause the screen, or you can just go to kickstarter.com and type in Tokyo Blade Detective, and it'll come up.
Yeah.
You don't even have to write the whole thing.
Yeah.
It'll come
or if you go to my Twitter, I posted like 5 times a day. So just find one of my tweets and just go there. Either way, it's easy. It's easy. There you go. It's easy to get to.
Easy peasy squeezy lemons. Todd, it's been an absolute blast, sir. An absolute blast. We first met on the Read Pop cons that were going on during lockdown and stuff like that. I was impressed then, and I still remain impressed. So
thanks, Johnny.
Well done. I think,
and I miss those community get-togethers. I really do. I mean, they were great. I've met some of our counterparts in real life, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I remember you from the Read Pop get-togethers online." I'm like, "Yeah, those were great." I was like, "Yeah, I missed them." And I even told Mike and Egan, I'm like, "Mike, we got to get these going again if possible." He goes, "I'll look into it." And obviously, he's a very busy man with all the cons he has to run, but if he can get them together again, he will, and I will be there.
I will be there. The thing is, for me, because it's they're always American time. It's always a little bit later for me, and I'm always a glass of half wine into it when I start. So I'm probably not my most erudite self at that time. But never mind.
You're fine, Johnny.
I'm fine. Todd, thank you so much for spending the time again. I really do appreciate it. I do enjoy your work. I think it's great.
Thank you, Johnny.
I love the different voices you have, the different ideas. I loved 5 Bullets. I thought it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It means a lot to me. It really does.
And, just goes to show, fair enough, I get you haven't had another backer in the last 24 hours, but you're there. You're past that point. And the rewards are clever. The rewards are stuff that people would want to know and take part in. I think the idea of getting advice on how to do comics or write comics or get advice on Kickstarters, all that stuff, for me, must be more valuable than a little badge. Well, I like little badges, but really, which would I rather have?
I've been blessed to meet some really great people who helped me in my comic journey, and I want to pass that on. So that's why I do the $25 and $75 rewards. But I want to make comics that a lot of people could read and have be accessible. That's what I do. I do my rewards with my books, with Tokyo, with 5 Bullets, with Guardians, all of them. So I have been blessed to have made it this far, and I appreciate your support, Johnny, and everyone who pledges to the Kickstarter. It means the world to me that I get to make one more book and put it into the world.
I think you'd be making, in fairness, Todd, I think you'd be making more than just one more book.
I can promise that.
I think
I can promise that.
You're set for life, I think, in creating books.
We'll find out.
We will. Excellent. There you go. Thanks to Todd for spending the time talking to us on Outside the Panels. As always, I've been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes. Don't forget to check out the UCPN for all your favorite shows, including the Old Timers Comic Book Show for all those comics of yesteryear. You've got TDC, the Definitive Definitive Crusade, to keep you up to date with all your DC stuff, and the No Prize Podcast for all you Marvel fans, your Marvel Cinematic Universe fans. I'm sure Black Panther will be getting the rollout on that, and of course, they talk about Disney Plus as well. All right, there you go. That's pretty much all we have time for today. Todd, one more time, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Happy to be here, Johnny.
And for me, it's adios.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.com, all about comic pop culture.